Ladies and gentlemen of the living and the dead, my name is Ariaster, and I am your friendly neighbor, Copernicomancer, who fears all things horror. Happy Wednesday! Happy Wednesday, everyone! Hello, hello, hello! Welcome in. Hope you are all doing well. Hello, CJN fan. Hi, I hope that you've been feeling well and doing well. Just the usual. For some reason, I forgot that you don't stream on Tuesdays yesterday. I see. Yeah, I don't stream Tuesday, Thursday, or Fridays. I think I've only done one Thursday stream. And that was only because of Halloween. You look really surprised in the thumbnail. I hope that the game gives you a lot of really good surprises. Yeah, it's been pretty twisty so far. Hello, Brondo. Where am I? Lost in La Sauce with the rest of us. Hello, Brondo. Welcome in. Hello, Solway. First time early streamer. Welcome in. You are on time. I am not. Kinda. I started the stream on time. But I I started streaming a minute later than usual. Alright, here. Hello, Chris K. What's up? Hello. I hope everyone's doing well today. Today might be a slightly shorter stream. To go to the doctor's tomorrow. I have to go get a blood test tomorrow. They did a blood test last week, but they need to do a different panel of tests. I'm not dying, I promise. So I have to go get a blood test tomorrow. So I have to be up a little earlier than usual. So I might end stream. We might only do 2 hours today. We might only do 2 hours today because yeah, I have to be up quite early tomorrow to get a needle stuck in me and for them to draw blood out of my body. So, yeah. Sorry. But, we'll make the most of our 2 hours. It'll be alright. We'll see if we can solve this case before the 2 hours is up. Kept checking on Tuesday for your stream. It took me a long time to remember that Tuesday is one of your streaming days. Well, the schedule is always up. You guys need to check what's going on for the week. Speaking of sauce, what's your favorite sauce? Sea salt caramel. If we're talking sweet. And I like good old gravy. If we're talking about savory. But I'm like, okay. Say this a million times. I'm not super picky with food. So like, it all depends on my mood at the time. But a runny nose just made it hard for me to think clearly. It could be why I thought that you were streaming yesterday. I hope you feel better soon. I hope that things will go really well tomorrow. Oh yeah. I'm not really that afraid of needles. You know, if they stick a needle in me, I'm like, whatever. They always, okay. Completely unrelated. I'm right-handed, so they always want to, every time I go donate blood, I do blood tests, they always want to stick a needle in my left arm. Obviously, because I'm right-handed, so they want to use the arm that I don't use as often, because in case there's pain or anything. But they can never find my vein in my left arm. I guess I have tiny veins. I don't know. So they always end up having to stick a needle in my right arm. So, yeah. Unrelated, but getting my blood taken out tomorrow. We'll see what happens. What's up, Dmitry Polyakov? Is that your name? No. Non-responsive. No. Maybe they don't speak Russian. I don't know. Maybe they only speak Russian. I don't know either. His name is Toma Chombrondo. Excuse me. How dare you assume their gender? I don't know if it's a boy or girl. I'm afraid to try and find out because I feel like the cat will leave and never come back. If I try to check if it's a boy or girl. So, Toma, try your name? No response. I don't know. Maybe the cat is deaf. I have no idea. I checked the schedule and I still forgot. It's alright. It happens to the best of us. And then pasta sauce? Oh! Carbonara? But sometimes I want Alfredo. And then there are days where I want marinara. And then there are times where I want a butter garlic sauce. But 75% of the time, I want carbonara. Yeah. You literally said it was not Toma, me no clickbait. No, I didn't say it wasn't Toma. I said I don't think it is Toma because Kitty no respond. But maybe it's because Kitty is deaf. But I don't think so. Because it moves around when I talk. So I'm assuming it's not deaf. Kitty does what Kitty wants. Maybe its name is Kitty. I don't know. All right. Anyway, where are we in Ace Attorney investigations? So Kay lost her memory. We are in a tall building called the big building, and there's a body. And then, we're trying to prove Kay didn't kill one of the committee members of the Committee of Prosecutorial Excellence. And, there seems to be some, black market auction going on. Yeah. And, oh yeah, and we saw Lotta Hart, who said who told us the victim's the ringleader, but Franziska wants a rematch. Yeah, that's where we're at. Okay, I'm up to speed now. And make them prick me in the right arm so I don't see the needle. Oh, you don't like seeing the needle? I don't really care. I have, unrelated to the game again. My blood type is O negative, so I try to donate blood quite often because I'm what you would call a universal blood donor. So I like to pretend, I'm doing good for the world. And so I used to, when I was in college, not so much recently, but when I was in college, we had a blood donation center on campus. So I would donate blood quite often. Yeah. But okay, I would go quite often, but half the time they would send me home because my blood pressure's too low. But I try to do good. My universally donatable blood. Yeah. I'm so special. Yeah, I guess I just got used to needles. Oh no. I know some people don't really like seeing the needle though. So I get it. I'm not one of them, but I can understand why. It is a little scary the first time. But now I'm just like, whatever. Yeah, stick it in. I don't care. No, I hate needles. Understandable. Alright, let's hear Franziska's latest theory. Wait, let's get a quick recap of the evidence that we've collected. The mask that was in the room. Case pin. We no longer have our prosecutor pin because we laid it down for justice. There's a letter the case carrying that Rosie, the victim, wrote to her. And then we have a ticket stub for her going to the viewing platform. Here's a flower tour for the victim's body. Okay, here's a pamphlet showing the layout of the building. Carrie remembers a person coming from beyond the concession stand pushing her off the building. And then this candelabrum is the murder weapon. Okay. We're getting a quick recap because I don't remember any of this stuff. Key card for the entrance to the door. Here's Rosie. Rosie, who died from stab wounds to the chest. She has a head injury sustained post-mortem. The key card record. The victim's letter that was written by Kay. A broken plushie from the first episode. The masks in the auction. The ringleader's appearance. Okay. Miss Hart's picture. Photograph of the mysterious figure in the red raincoat. There's some blood in the secret elevator. Miss Hart's statement. About the illicit auction. Okay. And then with the clothes box. And the committee chamber block. Okay, we're caught up, kind of, maybe. Then we have some profiles. Oh yeah, we met Winner's dad! Excelsior. Sus! That is the suspicious AF face if I've ever seen one. Just look at it. Look at it. You know, Eustace, I hope you don't grow up to be like your dad. Okay, then we have a nurse. This is our victim. This is the doctor. Alright, I'm caught up. Let's go. Franziska's latest theory. Okay. So she accepts our theory that would make the storeroom the actual scene of the crime. Yes. 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 In which case, the murderer is someone connected to the auction. Yes. You know, I really like how they render Franziska's gloves. So beautiful. Anyway, let's keep going. And if the photographer is to be believed, the victim was the auctioneer. The culprit was an attendee. The killer laying wait for the victim in the storeroom where the exchange of illicit goods was to take place. They then stabbed the victim in the chest with a piece of the merchandise, the candelabrum. There, does that about sum it up? Because I won't be accepting rebuttals. Oh, apparently there's a hole in the testimony. Edgeworth always knows things that I don't know. And I'm expected to figure it out even though I'm supposed to be Edgeworth. So... I didn't spot any. Good thing you're the one in charge here, Mr. Edgeworth. You know what, Emma? I agree. Oh, hi, Emma! I forgot you were here. Time to fight back. You have to win this for us. Absolutely. I want to pet the cat. Do you want to be pet? Do you want to be... No petting, says the cat. What was that? What was that? What was that? They don't like to be pet. Uh-huh. Alright, kitty. Alright, I won't let them pet you. I understand. Okay. Okay. Alright. Alright. Another time, maybe. Kitty is not in the mood to be pet today. Because cats do what they want. And, what? No, I'm not telling them that. That's mean. That's rude. Why would you say that? Stop. I'm playing a game. Go back to sitting there. Alright, time to take Franziska's testimony to task. Alright, Edgeworth knows something I don't know. Franziska's latest theory. Alright, let's press the statement where the storeroom is the actual scene of the crime. Conceded that point rather easily. I can't help but be suspicious. I'm not in the habit of denying facts that are readily supported by the evidence. That's all there is to it. You were able to show that the murder actually took place in the storeroom. In which case, the murder is somewhat connected to the auction. Okay. How exactly did you come to that conclusion? Members of the big building staff were questioned extensively, but none mentioned a secret storeroom. It seems its existence was known to only a handful of people. Of course, that storeroom was where the items that were to be sold in the auction were being kept. Very good, which suggests a link between knowledge of the storeroom and involvement in the auction. Okay, let's press. And if the photographer is to be believed, the victim was the auctioneer and the culprit was an attendee. Okay, what do you have to say to that? So you believe that the victim and the ringleader were one and the same. I'm guessing Edgeworth doesn't believe that. You do, and the murderer was. You're asking her this, you said exhausting yourself. So I did, but I was merely confirming Franziska's reasoning. You get caught saying something stupid, you give a little laugh and move on with your day. Excuse me. The murderer was one of the auction attendees. Okay. Can't quite tell if they love or hate one another. Anyway, the more relevant point here is how the culprit actually carried out their plan. Wanna get some haichu? Go for it. Go for it. It doesn't want to haichu. Killer laying wait for the victim in the storeroom where the exchange of illicit goods take place. Okay, I think this is where the issue lies. How exactly did they manage that? Miss Hart was in the storeroom too, remember? Yes, hiding someplace. And if you've seen the storeroom yourself, you know that there are plenty of other places to hide too. So you're saying the killer was hiding out of sight while they awaited the victim's arrival. I believe her reason assumed that the murder took place after the auction had concluded. After all, the victim was the auctioneer herself. She would surely have needed to be present throughout the proceedings. Okay, I guess this is where the hold is. I guess this is where the hole in her testimony is. Would you mind adding that statement to your testimony, Francisca? Okay, let's press her on the fact that the murder took place after the auction had concluded. I'm guessing this is where we rebut her, but I'm gonna talk to her some more. You're sure of that? The victim was the auctioneer. I don't see how else it could have happened. Do you? You have an auction without an auctioneer. That's assuming the victim is the auctioneer. Why does that suddenly feel significant? Because it is! Alright, usually would... No, I'm gonna press it anyway, just because I can. Let's talk about the candelabrum.
Hold it!
How do you know that the candelabrum was one of the auction lots? Because the murder weapon had been deliberately prepared beforehand. It seems highly unlikely that the killer would have chosen such an unusual object. Furthermore, based on the culprit's movements, the candelabrum could have only come from the storeroom. Yes, we did find evidence that showed where it was standing. Therefore, it could only have been something that was up for sale. Not that the issue of what the killer obtained their weapon is really the point here. It's a reasonably coherent explanation of events on surface. Okay. Alright, let's present here. Okay, according to Miss Hart, the auction continued even after the murder occurred. So let's present that here and see what Ezra has to say after he shrugs condescendingly like a boss. Seems you're one step behind yet again, Francisca. Wow. Oh. Why do you have to say it like that? That's just gonna be bad. My favorite is the blue raspberry flavor? It's a blue raspberry flavor of haichu? I've only ever had strawberry, the grape, and the apple. Yeah. Yeah, see, now she's mad, Edgeworth! The auctioneer was not in fact the victim, and I can prove it. We can? This is the statement Miss Hart gave us. She made it. It's not worth the air she used to say it. Okay. Okay, now hold, please. Calm down, listen for a second, Francisca. Ms. Hart witnessed at least some of the events surrounding the murder, and she confirmed that the auction continued even after the murder had occurred. It went right on like nothing had happened at all. How would that have been possible without an auctioneer? It wouldn't. So you see, the victim couldn't have been the auctioneer. She was one of the attendees. Okay. So I've been saying since the start, there's no way Kay can be the murderer, because she had been pushed down the hatch by her assailant and knocked unconscious by that time. So then who was the victim, really? Right, well, if the auction carried on after murder, the victim must not have been the auctioneer, but an attendee. Alright, here. Gaval is here! It's part of the soda pop mix? Oh, I didn't know they had a soda pop mix of haichus. Alright, here we go! Gaval's here! Order in the courtroom, all rise for the chairman. Ma'am, we're not in court! Oh, here he is. No need for all that pomp and circumstance, Verity. Feel free to call me Celsius. That'll do nicely. That'll do nicely. Okay. Eustace, that's your father. I don't think you can call him Celsius. I just stopped by to see how my boneheaded boy was getting along. He's doing, Excellent. They say there are all sorts of families, but I'm not sure these two are what they meant. Yeah, they're kind of weird. Thought I might need to light a fire under this investigation, but it seems not. The suspect, everyone's searching high and low for us right back here where we started. Miss Faraday's innocent, okay. Becoming something of a problem, Miles, my boy. I am not your boy! I am not your boy! The committee wants this matter cleared up as soon as possible. And? It's a matter of trust. We can't have our organization be seen to drag its feet. And? It's bad for us, and it's bad for me too. Personally. Sorry. Well, it must... okay. Everything you've described so far out, Excelsius, sounds like a you problem and not a me problem, okay? Now, if you would just let me finish talking, I can clear this right up. If you would all just SDF you and sit down. Gavel, we've already finished the investigation. Gavel, we've already finished the investigation, ma'am. Everything I do knowingly. If you wish to prosecute me for it, be my guest, but know this. We have uncovered a new suspect. This person here. Miss Faraday was attacked. Okay, now he's gonna overrule me. What? Raincoat in your picture was discovered nearby a short while ago. The victim's blood was found on the hood, along with some cherry blossom petals. Okay. That was your introduction to Haichu? I see. Like the ones on the roof? They were stuck to the edges of the bloodstains, probably due to the blood being fresh at the time. And? Okay, how does that relate to Kay in any way, shape, or form? Do you guys have evidence? The person in your picture is the victim, Miss Rosie Ringer. Interesting. Worn by the victim whose fingerprints and blood were found on the hood. Alright. And? All our assumptions were based on the person in the red coat being the killer. Okay. How do we know the coat belongs to the victim? Miss Faraday testified having encountered this. This feels like we're being set up here, Gaval. I'm just saying. Also, how? Okay. I would like to hear how you prove the raincoat belongs to the victim, because all I'm hearing right now is he said, she said. And hearsay's not admissible in court. Let's say arson to the courtroom. Yeah, that guy's weird. He saw us. I bet he's the killer. We now know that the person was the murder victim. And the only person we know who came into contact with her. After you did what investigation? Okay. Objection. She's the victim, not the aggressor. As far as I recall, we have yet to see any evidence that proves she was attacked as you claim. We also, you also don't have any evidence that she was not attacked as you claim! Bro, if this was a real court case, this would have been dismissed. The prosecution would have been laughed out of court. Ain't no way. And if such proof existed, Ms. Ringer could simply have been acting in self-defense. Could being the operating word here, Gaval. You can't just jump to conclusions like that. I would like to see some innocent. I would like to see some evidence. What is it, Kay? You remember something here about the raincoat brought about? Okay, good. Now we have more testimony. I remember what I saw now, right when it happened. Bro. The murderer? What? It was me. How? I remember looking down, and the person in the red raincoat was on the ground. Okay, that doesn't mean you killed them. That just means someone else. That just means they were in front of you. For a logic game, this case is very interesting. It's Ace Attorney as always to set up facts. Wait, but that doesn't make any sense. Wait, hold. No, then the timeline doesn't make sense. I have a memory like that. They were on the floor in front of me. It's a pool of blood. I was just standing there? Why did I do something? No. Actually, this testimony has just... There's a hole now. Gaval, go away! I'm thinking! Gaval, go away! I'm thinking! Also, you didn't believe anything she said 5 minutes ago. You remember her? You believe everything she says now? Hey, how did this woman become a judge? How did this woman become a judge? She just picks and chooses what she believes and what she wants to hear. Okay, I've decided not to give her any screen time. Oh, damn.
Overruled.
Alright, the girls are fighting. We don't have time for this. We must arrest Kay in Faraday's instance. Ma'am, you are a judge! You don't even have jurisdiction here! Yeah, this is a gross overreach of authority. Ma'am! Did you forget you're a judge? Say my investigation's unlawful. What could be more unlawful than this? You won't speak for law, and neither do you, Gaval! What kind of judge are you? Excelsius, what? Sir! This isn't even your investigation! You don't even have the facts! Oh my god. Technically, we didn't bit about anybody. We found them. Is this guy okay? This guy is so sus. Gaval! Are you listening to yourself right now? Oh my god. You know what? Good riddance. There's no way I would want to work for people like this. Look at this opportunity to reflect on my actions. You know, Excelsius, honestly, if you were my boss, I'd quit. If you guys were we're not in court, Gaval, what the WTF? Is she okay? Is she okay? Because I don't think she is. We're not in court. Man, you don't even have authority here. The hell? Anyway, apparently we've been arrested. Under what charges? I have no idea because... Huh? Huh? What? Is this game okay? Seriously, what the hell? I've never heard of a judge just deciding to... being able to decide what happens in an investigation. I don't think that's legal. But okay. Sure. Whatever, let's keep going. Apparently I'm being left unsupervised. Oh, it's Gaval. What is it? Take a seat? Alright. Let's see. Maybe she's not cray-cray. Maybe she was doing it on purpose. I can't tell. Yeah, I was told it was Detective Gumshoe. Maybe she's not as crazy as I think she is. Let's see. Imagine you wouldn't come if you knew it was me. Okay. Suppose I better find out. Alright, maybe she's not as cray-cray as I make her out to be. Maybe she was doing it on purpose. Maybe she's sus of Excelsius also. Or I could be wrong, but this is our plot. We're about to find out. You may not be aware of this, but you're only permitted to meet with specially approved visitors. Okay. Okay. The attorney and the other girl was raising quite the fuss earlier. Bender and Emma. Emma! I saw them launch some extremely heated words at one of the guards. May thank the goddess in that regard, for even she's too busy to deal with each and every infraction. Okay. They will not be punished for their bad behavior. Okay. Alright. What's going on then? Miss Von Karma is continuing the investigation where you left off. I just thought you would like to know. I figured you would be worried about how they were all doing. That's true. Edgeworth is very fond of his friends. Okay. Why are you really here? Here simply to talk, nothing more. There's something I wish to know about you. Okay. What is it? Objectively speaking, you're highly intelligent and quick-witted. Okay. And a born prosecutor at that. Yes, Edgeworth is very good at his job. Unlike some other people in your appointment. Okay, so what's going on? This is why I fail to understand you. Take this latest case, for example. You're up against the very committee itself. You have no hope of succeeding. Yeah, but what if the committee's wrong? What if the committee's wrong? And the child could have seen that, and yeah, but what if the committee's wrong? Listen. If I have to report to a whole entire committee, and that committee's wrong, I don't want to work for them. I don't want to work for them. I don't imagine the old me would have ever been so reckless. The old me had power, and because of that, I thought that justice was always on my side. Just as you and the committee believe now. True. But a certain person changed my mind. He made me reckon with my selfish and skewed sense of justice. And once the scales had fallen from my eyes, I began to look at people differently. I saw that I was only able to be an effective prosecutor thanks to the efforts of those around me. Detective Gumshoe, the many investigating officers of the force, and even Kay. It changed me. The degree of which it changed me still surprises me to this day. I feel that perhaps I understand you a little better now. Oh, do you, Belle? Someone who is so focused on forcing the idea of justice onto others can't possibly see what I see! Now, never change, Edgeworth. Is that what you truly believe? I don't know, Cavell. What you got for me? I believe people can change, but what you got for me? I will say one thing. This has been a very interesting conversation. That is all. Okay? Where are we going with this? Before I go, there's one remaining matter. I was asked to inform you that the date of your hearing has been confirmed. It will be held today in the trial chamber. The committee sends its warmest regards. If that was all you had to tell me, you could have just sent a message. And entrust the goddess's words to another, that would not do now, would it? You know, if the goddess really does exist, she'd whisper it to me in my dreams. Until then, Mr. Edgeworth, I'll see you again very shortly. Alright. I'm uncertain if she's crazy or if she's extremely smart. Maybe both. April 6th, detention center holding cell. Okay. What happens now? Oh, do I just investigate myself? Sure, why not? Okay. Edgeworth's collar was creased, and it seemed to be a problem for him. Alright, what's over here? There's a menu here on the table. It seems the detainees are able to pay to have their meals brought to their cells. Spaghetti and mac and cheese lunch. Add linguine for only $1. Oh, that sounds yummy. Basmati and brown rice special for limited time only. Add regular white rice at no extra cost. I see. So it's just a huh? What's over here? The window is barred with heavy steel. That reminds me of a movie I once saw. A prison inmate hatched a plot to escape by using a file to cut his cell bars. I won't be doing that, of course. For one thing, I don't have a file on me at the moment. Very basic bed. I can't say I was very comfortable to sleep on. Suppose I'll probably never get to work together again, but I don't have any regrets about the bed I've made. I will follow my own path to the end. There's a poster in the corridor outside. We regret to announce that due to the warden's arrest, the Die of Destiny game will be discontinued. Inmates will no longer need to roll a die every morning to determine their meals for the day. We wholeheartedly apologize to those who are looking forward to their daily casting of the die. Okay. Someone's here. Oh. Hello, Kay. Oh yeah, you seem alright. That's a load off my mind. Edgeworth is so kind. Alright, Excelsius. Do you want to go be friends with the crocodile sitting outside? Because you're shedding a lot of crocodile tears, and I think she would appreciate it more than I do. To say positive, Kay, you didn't do anything wrong. In fact, I guarantee you didn't. You're not the murderer, Kay. Just because you saw a dead body doesn't mean you killed him, okay? Don't think that's true. Before you lost your memory, we spent quite a bit of time together. And I dare say you left quite the impression on me. So you see, there's still plenty of you left. That's why I believe so much in your innocence, and why you should believe in yourself too. It's caused more pain for both of us? Well, that was dramatic. You remind me of my younger self, you know, so noble, so bold. Awkward. This is awkward. Justice, I suppose you'd call it that. What is he up to? I don't know, Ezra. Don't you think he's sauce? He's so sauce. Why is he going to such lengths to control everything? Probably because he's the mastermind behind the auction. I can't shake the feeling that something is very wrong here. Is there some hidden genetic plan? You're only feeling that now? I've been saying that for ages. There's no time to second guess myself. I'm going to find out what it is. It's now or never. Suppose I should be... Oh. Why is the chairman so intent on seeing Kay charged with this murder? It doesn't make any sense. Oh no, we're playing mind chess. Oh. Oh. Edgeworth? Edgeworth. Right now?! There must be some rhyme or reason to this madness. You're a busy, important man? Oh. Sure you are. And we went out of our current predicament through Chairman Winner. There's so much to ask and so little time. Let's start by trying to find out why he rushed to have Kay arrested so quickly. Can't just let this happen. Getting answered, that's the last thing I do. Alright, why the rush to arrest Kay? Yet to hear a satisfactory explanation. I'm not entirely sure what you mean. I know exactly what I mean. Advise you to moderate your tone. Need I remind you of your position? Bide my time. Suppose we did let your friend go free. What then? What do you mean, what then? Think of how that would look, my boy, and who would have to take the blame? Me, that's who. What? Okay, let's take a look. The right to keep... Okay. And stay silent forever, not while case innocence still in doubt. Breaking my heart. Am I really? No. Things were coming along nicely until you interfered. Coming along nicely? That's a pretty strange way of putting it. It's almost as if you wanted Kay's arrest to happen. It certainly doesn't sound like the statement of an impartial representative of the law. You think so? Well, that wasn't my intention. Has it occurred to you that you might just be overthinking things a little? No. 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 Sir, I will have you know. I've watched every season of The Closer. I've watched every season of SVU. There's no such thing as overthinking when you're talking to a snake. Chairman Winter certainly knows how to dodge a question, but it doesn't change the fact that serious doubts remain concerning case arrest. Next, we'll need to press him on whether he really believes the investigation was sufficient. Alright, here we go. Can't allow any of his statements to go unexamined no matter how trivial they may seem. One of them may just give us the breakthrough we need. How much time was spent on your investigation altogether? You know what? I'm not sure I can remember. Not bluster, my boy, unless you don't recall. It's a problem when you get to my age, you see. Well, less than 24 hours is what I know. I forgot my own son's name sometimes. Why? It's because he's such a disappointment? How much you spend on the investigation? Boy's a fool? Never meant for him to grow up like that? Woe is me. He's only too happy to derail a conversation no matter where I take it. Let's try another track for now, okay? You were the one calling the shots. You'd hardly say your investigation was sufficient. And you're the one who called all the shots, weren't you? Including the decision to have Kay arrested? My friend, nowhere near as influential as you think, my dear boy. Don't call me that. Oh, so? Lies. You're the chairman of the committee. It doesn't get much more influential than that. Not that I care about such things. You wound me, it's enough to drive an old man to tears. You have to forgive me, I'm not the differential type. Don't insist on being so blunt. I'm afraid you won't be seeing your prosecutor's badge anytime soon. Okay. And do you think I care because? Okay. Let's try that again. Okay. I don't need that badge anyway. Let me make something clear once and for all. That badge isn't the be-all, end-all for me. Far from it. I'm not concerned with titles or roles. Even you must understand that much. Oh, he doesn't like that answer. He doesn't like that answer. You're hopelessly naive, my boy. Idiotically so. Why? Because I haven't sold my soul to the devil. Well, that certainly got under his skin. He might be less guarded in his answers while in his state. Now's my chance. How much time was spent on your investigation altogether? No, I don't give up. But even my patience has limits, you know? Good. There's one thing I learned. The best time to get an answer is when someone's mad. What a coincidence, so does mine. Now answer the question. Do you believe that your investigation was sufficient or not? Makes you want to put you in your place? Come at me. You're gonna regret that? Is that a threat, sir? Is that a threat? Yeah, I'm not scared. I was thinking about how best to proceed. What? Just because I got you mad doesn't mean I'm mad. Getting answers from the elderly requires sensitivity. They can get quite emotional after all. Damn! Don't call them out like that, okay? You have no common sense whatsoever, do you? Don't you understand? Your favorite's in my hands. Let's see about that. Got you now. You're back. I don't think that was the right answer. I don't think that was the right answer. Should I have to say silent? Okay, hang on. Let's try this again. Okay. Gonna regret that. No, that's not right either. Okay, I was supposed to say silent. His cues is quite hard to read, I'm not sure. But I'm also really bad at mind chess. So, we're gonna have to do this the hard way, I suppose. Alright, so we stay silent as he threatens us. Okay. Let's say you do manage to get some answers from me. There's nothing you can do with them, so why not give up, dear boy? No. Why not? Simple, because I'm not about to let the truth escape me. I'm beginning to see what makes you tick, yeah? But what you're doing is pointless, tragically. Nah, I can't give up. The decision has been made! We haven't even gone to trial yet, sir! Once again, your choice of words intrigue me. It's almost as if his case guilt had already been determined from before her arrest. What are you trying to imply? I'm trying to imply this is all a setup! That you plan to have her arrested, of course. Implying that things haven't gone as they normally should. In fact, everything has proceeded as if case arrest was the end goal right from the very start. Well, Chairman Winner, was it? It's certainly an intriguing theory. I don't think it's a theory. It's also a complete work of fiction. I'm afraid I don't have time for such flights of fancy. Alright. Alright. It's time we brought this shabby little farce to end, don't you? Oh, he's so mad! You must confirm the legality of case arrest before he slips away. Alright, here we go! It's faint, but the truth is finally beginning to emerge. I'm not about to let this opportunity pass me by. Still have questions. What grounds did you have? Based on everything I've heard from you so far, it's clear that case arrest is entirely unfounded. I think we're all familiar with this particular refrain of yours by now, but I'm afraid it doesn't matter either way. You don't have what it takes to secure a lease anyhow. So you're saying you're above the law? Let's stay silent, see what happens. Honestly speaking, I don't have the time to waste on every last question you can dream up. Okay. Quite a busy man. Or are you just pretending to be busy? Okay. You work harder than you should at your age? Then why are you here? What could I even hope to accomplish by putting up such a pretense? You're hoping to avoid talking about the case. You obviously don't want to talk about the case anymore. That's why you're so keen to get out of this conversation, isn't it? Just so tragic? About what? That I would suspect you of such thing? Oh, I suspect you of so much more, Excelsius! You don't even know! You don't even know! It's not a suspicion, it's a certainty. There were no clear grounds on which to base case arrest for a start. There's plenty of evidence to support our case. Yeah, circumstantial evidence! No DA would take that to court. The mass letter, the corsage that were all in her possession could have been planted. Any good defense attorney would argue that it was planted. Her confession, she doesn't remember anything. No, none of that is enough. Let's see, what's the matter? Way to explain everything away? We don't need to explain it away, bro! I say the same for you. Oh, that was not it. Maybe I need to stay silent and see what else he says. Let's try the silent treatment. Let's try the silent treatment. Let's try this again. Okay. Okay. My time. Okay. This is what we got last time. Okay. It's not as sufficient as certainty. There were no clear grounds on which to base case arrest for a start. Okay, all circumstantial evidence. Plus a persuaded confession, I might add. Silence speaks volumes. It's true I can't counter your argument right now. A suspiciously detailed knowledge of the evidence against K. How did he know about the mask? Because the letter was found on the body. So he would know about that. The corsage was also found on the... Wait, how... Okay. How did he know about the corsage and the mask? Interesting. It's almost as if someone planted the corsage in the mask. He read off the list like he knew it inside out. I think that might prove to be a valuable clue. Kay's innocent. It's just clumsy. Anyone can put out based on assertion like that, even a disgraced superstar. Okay. We have to start with the question again. Okay. How did he know about the mask and the corsage? Who gave the order? Who decided that Kay should be arrested? No, I can't seem to remember. Don't ever get old. So it was you. Remember all the evidence pretty well. I appreciate it if you stop playing the old man card. You remember the details of the evidence against Kay pretty clearly. Perhaps if your memory didn't fail you only when it was convenient, I'd be more inclined to believe you. Yeah. So let me ask you again, who gave the order for Kay's arrest? My son could learn a thing or two from you. Why? Is this a disappointment? He wasn't such an incurable numbskull, that is. It's a tragedy, really. Yeah, I don't want to hear about your son when you know who authorized the arrest. You're calling Adrith means? You know, from where I'm standing, Celsius, Adrith is being perfectly polite right now. He can be much meaner when he wants to be. The arrest, you said, I believe the order was given by... Come now, Chairman Winner, we both know it was you. Got me? Huh. Make it sound like it was somehow a bad thing, though, but it is. But I have a reputation to uphold, so I guess I better clear up this little misunderstanding. I'm entertaining your questions for a few more minutes. Let's see if I can't put your mind at ease. Key thing to do now is to establish how intimately he knows the details of the case. I just have to ask the right questions. Oh, Miles, you make it sound so much easier than it is going to be. The endgame is at hand. We're but a few moves away from the truth. I am so bad at chess, Miles. Couldn't you have picked another game? Why did it have to be at chess? Could it be like Handmaid or something? Gosh darn it. You seem to know an awful lot about this case. You know about a lot of things. You're just smart like that. Too bad the same can't be said about the way you handle a case arrest. Damn! Oh, he didn't like that. He didn't like that at all. He didn't like that at all. It's only taking so long because you won't give me a straight answer to any of my questions. If only you just stop giving me the runaround, we'd be done already. So let's try this again. You seem to know the details of the case quite intimately. Why is that? Because I read the case file? Not exactly the most thrilling use of my time, of course, if it's part of the job. How did he know about the mask? How did he know about the mask? The mask wouldn't have been in the case file. Did you really read it all? No, that wasn't the right one. I'm not sure. Was I supposed to bide my time? We might lose this one, but it's okay. We'll keep going. Okay. This is where we stay silent. Okay. But yeah, you say you were so busy. That's strange. I could have sworn you just told me you're a very busy man, and yet I have some time on your hands, so you read the whole thing cover to cover, huh? Hello, DJ Core. What's up? I'm engaging in a very thrilling game of mind chess that I am not very good at. You're having a better day than I am. Sailor cracks are finally starting to show, wouldn't you? If you're so keen on being an upstanding leader, you can start by releasing K, you know? It's a moving side. Yeah? The tragic one? After all, your efforts are for naught. What does that mean? I'm afraid your little friend was found unconscious near the scene of the crime. What was the weather like that day? That wasn't the right. I wanted to see if he knew what the weather was like. Okay, Hannah, let's go back. Okay. Okay. Alright, this decision tree is quite complex. Okay, he said he's very busy. And then we say, you keep saying how busy you are. Okay, then he's gonna tell us that Kay was found near the crime scene. You could have sworn you had a hat. I don't wear it every day. I don't wear it every day. But yes. But yes. Some days I have a hat on, but not today. Today I have my cat. Well, I don't know if they are my cat. I don't even know their name. They just hang out and chill. We have yet to hear much about the circumstances under which Kay was found. She was lying unconscious in the storeroom, correct? Wow. It's wild that I'm not at liberty to tell you how I know that. He knows things even we didn't. In fact, he seems to be aware of every tiny detail about this case. This could be a valuable clue. Alright, tell me what you know about Kay. The suspect, Kay Faraday. How much do you know about her exactly? You know that she's the suspect? Aside from that, not much else? Cross my heart, but it's true. Time to deploy my clue. Yeah, you know every other detail about the case. But one thing, you know details that even those investigating the scene were not aware of. Why is that? It's how much do you really know, Chairman Winner? Is the intimidating face you like to make again? But two can play the game. How do you like me now? Bro, are you 5? Are you 5? Really is something. I'll take that as a compliment. Take it however you like, but wrap this up, will you? You just don't have the stamina anymore? She's the culprit, the only possible suspect. Just accept that already. No, absolutely not. How much more evidence did you want us to load her down with, for goodness sake? Are you admitting to plenty evidence on her? Are you load her down with? Are you admitting to plenty evidence, sir? Yet another interesting turn of phrase, one that makes it sound a lot like the items Kay was carrying might have been foisted upon her. Sir, do you think I'm 5? Really do pay attention, don't you? Of course. No wonder they used to call you a prodigy, Mr. Ex-Prosecutor. Trust me. Trust me. Trust me. I've watched every episode of CSI, okay? Do you know the answer to your own question by now? Why don't you just go ahead and say it? I want to hear from you. It's finally time to shed light on the truth. All that's left is to play one last move. Kay is innocent. Anyone can blurt out base. Okay. Time to play my clue. Except I know it wasn't her. Kay was framed. The true culprit set it all up so she would take the fall instead. That is my answer, and I won't let you deny it any longer. Oh, I thought he was gonna set all of his beer on fire! But no. You really are a sharp one. Was it not obvious? Bro. Come on, was it not obvious that Kay was set up? It's a bit of a shame you chose to hand in your badge. Admit it, you're right on all accounts. Bro, come on. Was that so hard? You knew Kay wasn't the real murderer and yet you still had her arrested. What's worse, you thought you could get away with it. Or you won't, not if I can help it. Okay, guess that was always your problem. With the girl arrested and the conviction secure, this whole mess goes away, and that's what will happen. But whose interest does a conclusion like that serve? Committee's, I suppose? And mine? You know, listening to you just now, well, it really got the tears flowing, I have to say. It was poignant and heartfelt and sincere. And utterly infuriating? Why? Because he has everything you don't have? Excelsius! I'm not perfect, I know that, but your lack of sophistication in these matters is beyond the pale. You insist that the truth is more important than anything else. But would you say the same if you knew what the real value of the truth is? Yes. Yes. You get to my level, you don't uncover the truth, you make it little by little. Hey, Faraday, murder it. That's the truth I created. Bro, you ain't even pretending anymore! So sincere, sometimes it's painful. It just makes me want to put you in your place. Why? Why? It's because you're seeing how ugly you truly are, sir? Learning the real truth will get you nowhere. Because that's how much it's worth. Nothing. You only say that. You only say that because you've done some stuff, haven't you? Why not go after the real killer? How much do you even know about what really happened? Yours is all that matters? Damn. Main character syndrome much? It's alright. Alright. This guy's... There's no way I was supposed to think this guy was a good guy at any time. Not planning to disappear just yet, Chairman, when it is still a hearing later today. Just you wait, one way or another, I'll prove Case innocent to the world then. I feel like Gavel knows the truth. But here we go. April 6, 8:30 a.m. Committee for Prosecutor Excellence. I hate the name of this committee, by the way. 10 members over a majority are present. I hereby call this hearing to order. We're gathered here today to assess the professional competency of Prosecutor Miles Edgeworth. Here on the side of the goddess, we do solemnly swear to pass fair and frank judgment. The fact that you can say that with a straight face? Damn. Yeah, don't make me laugh. Verity, if you'd be so kind as to summarize the case against Mr. Edgeworth. April 5th, despite having me advised of the illegality of an investigation he was conducting, the accused refused to desist, and eventually I had to be detained by myself and Chairman Winter. That is not how I remembered it. His action compromised the investigation into the murder of a certain defense attorney. That is not how I remembered it. Despite having been presented with copious evidence of her guilt, he continues to insist that the suspect, one K. Faraday, is innocent of all charges. That's not how I remembered it. Alright, we're going over the case right now. Morning of the 5th, the body of the victim was found here in the committee chamber. Further explanation will be provided by... Alright, here we go. It's Eustace. Damn, he just called himself a premier prosecutor. Sir! Sir! You really should have gone to politics. I don't think law is for you. Isn't that the guy from Phoenix? It is! It is. It is. This is a spin-off of the main Ace Attorney trilogy. Phoenix doesn't make an appearance, though. Even though Miles talks about him from time to time. Alright, the murder itself happened late on the night of the 4th. The victim was Rosie Ringer. That night, an illicit auction was being held here in this very room. Ringer took part of that auction, I think. Oh, God. Meaning that the murder took place sometime during the auction. When she was found, Ringer was dressed in an outfit that matched the description of the auctioneers. However, due to the fact that the auction carried on after the murder had occurred, it deduced that Ringer was not, in fact, the auctioneer. Okay. So Faraday was overcome by crushing remorse. So she confessed. According to her confession, she was on the roof of this building when she encountered a person in a red raincoat on the viewing platform. And that person was Miss Ringer, I take it. I still don't have any proof that she was the one in the red raincoat. I don't have any evidence, but if I recall, it wouldn't make sense. The time she was killed, Miss Ringer was wearing a red raincoat. And who won the race to find the raincoat nearby? Okay, cool. Nobody cared about that. Yeah, I thought somebody from forensics found the raincoat. Strictly speaking, it was found by one of the forensic investigators under Mr. Winner's command. The blood analysis on the coat showed that it was indeed Miss Ringer who had worn it. The suspect's confession was the final nail in the coffin. She confirmed having committed murder. No, she said she saw the body! No, she said she saw the body! Yeah, I have no objections. No. No objection. The matter of my unauthorized investigation, that is. But in the matter of Miss Faraday's supposed guilt, I have plenty. I can personally attest to the fact that Mr. Winner's investigation was fair and impartial. Yeah, and did you investigate how impartial the actual evidence are? He's too dumb! Hey, listen, Eustace is too stupid to come up with this plan, frankly. I don't need a plea deal from you, sir. I don't want a seat on this committee, thank you. Thank you. I prefer to stay clean. Have any objections? Yes! You think you can buy my silence? Think again! I've been meaning to play this, you should. You should. It has made me very upset in certain places, but I'm enjoying the game. I recommend. Only if the chairman watches this. Damn, I didn't come here to talk about the committee seats. I came here to talk about the murder case. I demand a statement under oath, and I won't rest until I have one. I want to know exactly what the committee's view on the incident is. You want to put us on trial? Very well, if they'll make you happy. Listen, I'm not the one who's been putting people on trial left and right. It's you guys. I'm just playing along, quite frankly. His logic is flawless. How can we beat this? Oh, Brondo. Oh no, man. Maybe I need to summon a persona or something. Alright, they're giving me back my evidence! So please harass, let's humor him with the send-off he desires. You say so, Mr. Chairman? Evidence data received from Judge Gavel. You have no objection to Verity representing the committee, I assume? None whatsoever. Okay. It's gonna be alright. Yeah, you'll see. The committee's view of the case. Miss Stringer attended the auction as a potential buyer. The red raincoat was one of the items up for sale. So our assumption is that after winning and paying for it, she left the auction with her purchase. Okay. Okay. So the raincoat must be the raincoat from the first case where the president's bodyguard was murdered. But I'm guessing, from what I understand so far, Case Promise notebook was also up for auction. And I think Rosie was probably here to purchase the notebook to give to Kay. If I'm understanding correctly. My assumption, anyway. But anyway, let's keep going. Let's keep going. Why is that guy obsessed with fire? I don't know. I guess we'll find out. Together. The only exit from the storeroom was, of course, the hatch leading up to the roof. After she emerged onto the green platform, that's when Miss Ringer was attacked by Miss Faraday. Shortly thereafter, her flame went out, and thus concludes the committee's view of the case. The raincoat was on offer that night? Is that really true? We believe so, yes. You remember the failed assassination attempt on the president of Zanpha, I assume? The raincoat is a piece of evidence from that case. It should, of course, have remained safely under lock and key in the appropriate facility. But our inquiries revealed that it did in fact go missing under mysterious circumstances, and wound up the auction along with everything else. That makes sense, I suppose. Worn by the victim whose fingerprints and blood were found on the hood. On the hood? Okay. Alright, here we go. Alright, here we go. I think Val wants you to find the truth. She said some strange things when she visited me this morning, too. What exactly is she up to? Alright. Let's press her. Maybe Gaval is less Delulu than I think.
Hold it!
In other words, a member of the committee was actively involved in the illegal evidence trade. It is unfortunate. I don't know what else to say. Of course, we'll be looking into any such activities just as soon as the hearing's over and done with. Okay. It's the least we can do, really. Not that it's any of your business, Miles. Not anymore. I love the animations for these games. Me too. It's pretty cool. Alright, let's keep going. The red raincoat was one of the items up for sale. The raincoat really was one of the auction lots. Correct, I believe it originally belonged to a Mr. Shelley DeKiller. I love DeKiller. He's so cool. Considering its status as a piece of evidence is the only logical conclusion. From when he made his attempt on the president's life. It was an unexplained mannequin standing among the other items on sale. Could well have been used to display the coat prior to the auction. Do you know how the items were being smuggled in? That is still under investigation and is entirely unrelated to the matter at hand, especially considering that you will soon officially be a prosecutor no longer. Sounds like the outcome of this hearing is a foregone conclusion. No surprises there. My personal circumstances aren't important right now. Please continue, Your Honor. Raincoat is one of the items up for sale. Okay. Let's press this statement. Why did she leave so soon after making her purchase? Because of the auction house rules. Winning bidders are expected to pay for the items immediately. Miss Hart told us pretty much the same thing. Miss Ringer, having paid for the raincoat, probably left immediately afterwards in accordance with the rules. Okay. The only exit from the storm was, of course, the hatch leading up onto the roof.
Hold it!
Press that. Miss Ringer was a member of the committee. Did she not have left the committee chamber via the main door? While the auction was still underway, that would risk exposing existence to those outside the trusted circle of attendees. Given that Miss Hart found out about it, I think its existence already well and exposed. The rules of the auction stated the attendee were to enter and leave via the hatch in the roof. Miss Ringer had no reason not to follow these rules, and given where the murder took place, we know that she must have done so. After she emerged onto the viewing platform, that's when Miss Ringer was attacked by Miss Faraday.
Hold it!
What possible motive could Kay have had? That is exactly what we were hoping to establish in our upcoming interview with Miss Faraday. Coercive interrogation after the fact, something you seem to specialize. Damn. The murderer knew that the attendee would all be leaving via the hatch, and the roof would have been the perfect place to lie in wait. So as I was saying, after she emerged onto the viewing platform, that's when Miss Ringer was attacked. Shortly thereafter, her flame went out and thus concluded the committee's view of the case.
Hold it!
Flame went out? Flame of her life, Mr. Edgeworth, though perhaps her flame was stolen from her is more apt. Candelabrum that extinguished her life was one of the auction lots, meaning Kay had no way of getting a hold of it to begin with. Faraday could not have lain in wait for the victim without knowing of the storeroom's existence. She could easily have snuck down the letter and stolen it while the auction was underway. If only we knew where the candle holder was during the auction, that would surely clear the matter up, no? Either of you? Well, there's no way to track that. Okay. So their theory is that the victim and her killer met on the roof and that's where the murder took place. In other words, it seems the viewing platform was the scene of the crime. Is that really the case? I thought of evidence that clearly shows the story of what happened that night. Time to double check. Okay. 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 I'm going with the elevator blood. But I don't think that's right. Or are we going with the statue? I'm a little confused. I'm not doing very well. I get where they're going with this.
Objection!
But also, I'm not sure. Oh, okay, hang on. Okay, hang on. Maybe they want to use Lotta's testimony. Let's see. Women death of time sometime last night. Okay, 11 attendees altogether, all were wearing masks. Auction continued even after the murder occurred.
Objection!
I don't think that's right either. We're losing a lot of HP here. Maybe I should save before we die. Okay, so we're disputing the fact that the murder happened on the platform.
Objection!
Okay. Maybe you can clear something up for me, Judge Gabel. But what is Miss Hart doing here at this hearing? She's an eyewitness. I thought it would be obvious. Okay. Ear witness? She's not exactly the most confidence-inspiring choice to help you make your case, is she? Like to think I choose my allies a little more carefully than you? Then you should question them more thoroughly, because it's something she hasn't told you. Take a look at this. It's a photo taken by Miss Hart. In the storm, correct? What of it? According to your theory, the murder occurred up on the roof. But according to Miss Hart's testimony, she happened to witness the entire incident unfold in the storeroom. Just before she took this picture. Yeah. I think Gavel knows she's wrong, but she wanted us to point out that she was wrong. Miss Hart, if I may confirm your account of the events you witnessed that night. You saw the person in the picture, correct? I sure did, clear as day. And with my own 2 eyes to boot. And what were your impressions at that point? My impressions? Is right here. It's the scoop of the century, something like that. Okay. I was hoping more for your impression of the person in question. There's a walk-in meal ticket? She's doing great. This is my little joke. No need to look at me like that. Don't sit on your lunch. All red raincoat, right? Well, I took one look and I thought that's how perp right there. And therein lies the rub from his heart to have thought such a thing. Alright, here we go. It's an explanation of the facts that you require. You need to only ask. Alright, here we go. I'm sure you're about to raise the issue of the voices Miss Hart heard. Voices that may be unrelated. You can do better than that. Was one of the voices Miss Hart heard really Miss Ringers? And folks was talking crime-related turkey. But did you hear them clearly? Can't rightly say for sure. They was using voice changes. I done told you all that. Precisely, Miss Hart heard voices, but those voices were disguised, which means we cannot even be certain that whatever she did over here had anything to do with the murder. Wow. Edgeworth is doing a finger wag. You don't need to yell objection on the side of me, Mr. Edgeworth. Oh, but he does. Seems I overestimated you, Judge Gavel. She's the best of you? Even better than you, Excelsior? Is that what you're saying? And yes, she believes that what Miss Hart heard might not have had anything to do with the murder. Even supposing that that's the case doesn't prove the murder didn't happen in the storeroom. The incident happened before the victim was able to go up to the roof. That much we can say for certain. And I can tell you why. We can? Let's go with the blood on the hand!
Take that!
We initially thought that the person in the red raincoat was the culprit. Because Miss Hart said as much. Indeed, she told us about the blood she saw on this person's hand, and I doubt many people would have thought differently given her testimony. Ergo, if this person is the killer, then the blood we see would be from when they attacked the victim. But knowing what we know now, that this person is in fact the victim, it recontextualizes everything. The presence of the blood still shows that the picture was taken after the attack. But now it tells us something very important about the victim too. This picture tells us that the victim struck the killer. She must have struck them hard enough to draw blood, thus the blood on her hand. All the blood I've seen was shown to have... Okay. So that must mean she survived the attack then. There's no doubt in my mind that the victim was attacked in the storeroom. But here we have photographic evidence of her standing upright and alive, albeit with a bloody hand. This can only mean that Miss Ringer survived the attack. The blood on her hand is from the wounds she has sustained. What am I talking about? Who dies from a hand? Sir. The wound wasn't on her hand, Mr. Winner. I imagine she had used her hand to try and staunch the wound. That's right. While it's impossible to tell from this angle, the victim was already mortally wounded here. We very much would, not least by making it absurd to suggest that Kay was the attacker. Her encounter with the victim happened after this picture had been taken. After the victim had already been attacked and was in critical condition. I put it to you that all Kay witnessed was the victim finally succumbing to her wounds. That would have been quite the coincidence. It's a textbook case of wrong place, wrong time, I'd say. Seem to be forgetting a rather important fact, Mr. Edgeworth. Alright. Think it's time to wrap things up, don't you? Put the boy out of his misery. Come at me. Gavel works for you? Eustace, I'm pretty sure it's the other way around. Just like a real courtroom! For real, DJ Coher. But do you keep giving her orders? That's my job. Technically, she doesn't work for either of you. Yeah, you really are a total and utter embarrassment, Eustace. I hate to break it to you, but you both are dead! Alright, here we go. What you got for me, Gavel? This is the first time I've ever seen a judge work for a prosecutor. That's crazy. Miss Ria's body was found with 3 wounds in her chest. And we all know what those wounds are from, don't we? From when she was stabbed in the chest by a 3-armed candelabrum. I doubt anybody could survive such grave wounds. Care to read the coroner's report? I'm sure you'd change your tune. Yes, Ezra. I'm afraid Ezra's will have to make several objections, Eustace. Thank you. Eustace, can you just sit down and drink your chocolate milk, please? Thank you. That would be very kind. Save me a lot of reading. Why do I always have to undermine you? Eustace. I don't think anyone actually cares about you here. Yeah, I don't care about undermining you. Because you're doing so well to yourself every single time already. Can you sit down, Eustace? Yeah, you've already embarrassed me enough. Can you just sit down? Thanks. I'm busy. The adults are busy. Alright, let's press the fact that Miss Ringer's body was found with 3 wounds in her chest. 3 wounds that can have been pleasant. Which is why we must see that the perpetrator of this cruel act pay for their sins. Yeah, don't listen to Kay. We could please continue on, Judge Gavel. Okay. There were 3 wounds. Okay, let's press her. Perhaps we should ask Mr. Win. Yes. Yeah, where are the wounds from? Okay. Is this my boy? Make an old man happy. At least glance at the coroner's report, would you? Let's see. Yada yada, 3 puncture wounds. Blah blah, candle holder. No way, that's what they use? Crazy! I know Eustace, crazy, right? Crazy that Eustace has not been thrown out the courtroom for his horrendous calls. To be fair, I don't think he's actually been in a courtroom. The wounds are inflicted just as Eustace says. Okay.
Hold it!
You're sure the stabs to the chest were the cause of death? There's no doubt about that. None. One of the spikes of the candelabra even pierced the victim's heart. And unless you mean to call Dr. Hurt's professional opinion into question, we can only treat that as fact. Okay. But didn't she also have a head wound? Oh, the head injury was sustained post-mortem. Okay, I see. I'm certainly not about to ignore the coroner's findings. You made findings, Eustace? the cause of death really was the puncture wounds to the chest from the candelabrum, that would seem to contradict one of the pieces of evidence we've gathered.
Hold it!
The victim may not necessarily have died instantly. I think we can say that much at least. Perhaps, but she would surely not have lived for longer than a few moments either. So there are people who can survive even if you stab them in the chest. K! Here there might be and there might not be too. What? Which is it? There are not. In the cases you're still tempted to believe there might be. You have to read the coroner's report. I'm sure you would change your tune.
Hold it!
Cause of death is a set of 3 puncture wounds on the left side of the chest inflicted by a candle holder. Or forms the basis of my own conclusion. In other words, if I disprove what it says, I disprove your conclusions too. You have the strangest sense of humor, but I wouldn't mind seeing you try. However, before you do, I would advise you to read that report very carefully. Is that a clue? I shan't not take a look. Victim's body discovered in committee chamber. Preliminary findings place time of death is sometime late last night. Cause of death is the set of 3 puncture wounds on the left side of the chest inflicted by a candle holder. Victim also suffered a head injury post-mortem. Other remarks: prominent burn mark on the back of victim's right hand. Burn marks. Huh. After all, I'm not interested in your opinions, only solidly grounded conclusions. Hey. You will find something to prove that the victim was still alive and breathing immediately after the attack. Stab at the chest by 3-armed candelabrum.
Hold it!
Well, we know the stab to the chest were the... Palms of each arm covered in blood. Spacing matches that of the wounds in the victim's chest. Is this really the murder weapon? I'm curious about the burn marks. And there's no candle. Okay. Let's talk about the burn marks then, I suppose. I should say before I do this, lest I make a mistake and die.
Objection!
Oh, good thing I said! That was not it. Where did she get the burn mark?
Hold it!
Okay. So we have to disprove the candelabrum as the murder weapon. It's where they're trying to get at. Hmm. No alarm is here. Okay, unless you mean to call, okay. Certainly not about to know the foreign's findings. They seem to contradict one of the piece of evidence we've gathered. Face is a very unique shape. If we're removed from a dusty shelf or something, it would be immediately obvious what had been standing there. Okay. Head injury was sustained post-mortem. That was probably when her body was dropped. Okay, let's present the letter.
Hold it!
Oh, oops, I meant to present an evidence. Okay, if the candelabrum really was the murder weapon, and the letter was found in her pocket, why were there no holes in the letter?
Objection!
That's not it either. I'm slightly confused. Slightly confused. She was stabbed. That anybody could have survived such grave wounds.
Hold it!
Cause of death is a set of 3 puncture wounds on the left side of the chest afflicted by a candle holder. Okay. I disprove what it says is prove your conclusions. Okay. 3 wounds in her chest. We don't know what this is from. It's just stabbed. Okay. Roman just said, okay. I don't doubt that she was stabbed in the chest by the candelabrum. But do we know that was actually the murder weapon? Remember finding his place on death sometime late last night. Victim also suffered a hand injury post-mortem.
Objection!
I have no doubt that she was stabbed. But when was she stabbed? And I'm not understanding where I'm supposed to clarify this. No, I don't want to die here. Let's load. I know this is technically cheating, but... Okay, so the idea is to prove that the candelabrum is not the murder weapon. She's found with 3 wounds in her chest. My immersion! Sorry.
Hold it!
I'm so confused. Cause of death is a set of 3 puncture wounds on the left side of the chest inflicted by a candle. Candle holder. And these are the masks. Shouldn't there be more blood? On the candelabrum? Why is there only blood on the tip? Like, if you stabbed her with it, shouldn't there be more blood? Alright, let's try this. Shouldn't there be more blood on the candelabra?
Objection!
Shouldn't there be more blood? Anybody could have decided blah blah blah. Okay. Found 3 wounds in her chest. Okay.
Objection!
Oh no, I'm so confused. I don't know. Okay, the idea... I know where they're getting at. I just don't know how to prove what they're getting at. Oh no. Your Honor, can I get a run at bad? Just got here. What I mischief? Everything. And me not knowing how I got here. Oh no, this is not where I wanted to load. Okay. We know that she was stabbed. can we be sure that just because she was stabbed that it was the murder weapon?
Objection!
I feel like I'm thinking about this wrong. I feel like I'm thinking about this wrong, but I can't figure out what the right answer is.
Hold it!
Okay, so they're saying letter K was carrying addressed to her. I don't think that has any relevance. Oh, but there was her. Wait. Her fingerprints and her blood was found on the hood. That must mean she survived.
Objection!
They're from when she was stabbed in the chest by 3 armed candelabrum. Anyone could have. Okay.
Hold it!
Cause of death is 3 puncture wounds on the left side of the chest inflicted by a candle holder. Whereas if I disprove what it says, I disprove your conclusions. Find a burn mark on the back of the victim's right hand. Okay. Suffered a head injury post-mortem. And how did her fingerprint and blood was found on the hood? Ringing an auction attendee came on the elevator. A scream was heard not long after. Okay. I know this is cheating, but I'm really confused. I don't really understand where they're getting at. Not sure. Not sure. I am confused. Okay. Oh, so I was on the right track. Okay. It is about the red raincoat. Good night, DJ Coolherd. Good night. Okay. I just presented in the wrong place. Your Honor, is this case open notebook? It better be. So we were supposed to present it at where she was stabbed in the chest. I don't really understand the logic behind that. I don't really understand the logic behind that. I would have thought we were present this where she was killed immediately, but
Objection!
we're not. Oh, I guess you're saying that there were no holes in the raincoat. Okay. They're saying if she was wearing the raincoat when she was stabbed to death, there should be holes on the raincoat. Okay. Chairman Winner, you know what this is, of course. The red raincoat. That's right, isn't it, Verity? The one Miss Ringo was wearing. Well, I'm afraid I might have to regardless. Now then, if you'll answer me this, Judge Gaval. You told us that the victim's bloodstains were found on the coat. But do you remember where exactly they were found? They were found on the hood. Yeah, not on the chest. The hood? Was blood found anywhere else in the raincoat? No, it was not. Doesn't that strike you as odd? The victim died of stab wounds to the chest. Wouldn't that lead one to expect to find bloodstains in the area? And yet, there was blood only on the hood. That's a glaring contradiction if I ever saw one. The head wound the victim suffered wasn't just some incidental injury. It was inflicted before the stab wounds to her chest. Perhaps the victim did sustain the head injury first. As you said, if she had been stabbed first, there should be blood in the chest area of the raincoat. Therefore, Miss Ringer cannot have been stabbed before the head injury had been inflicted on her. But even if we concede this point that the head injury came before the chest wound, what difference would it make? How does it change our understanding of the case? Say it changes things a great deal. In fact, it raises an even more fundamental contradiction. Okay. Perhaps you could show us this fundamental contradiction with some evidence. Piece of evidence best demonstrates this condition in the order of the injury revealed. Probably the coroner's report.
Take that!
Nope. This is Dr. Hurt's preliminary findings. According to which, the victim suffered a head injury post-mortem. But the order suggested by the bloodstains on the raincoat is exactly the opposite, yes. Bailiff, this court hereby subpoenas Dr. Hilda Hurst to the committee chamber with all due haste. Damn. Until she testifies, this case cannot be brought to a close. Alright, while they're doing that, I'm gonna go grab a snack. Because I'm hungry. Alright, I have a snack. Fortunately, Dr. Hurst is a very busy woman. I doubt she'll be able to come immediately. In the meantime, there's another important angle I would like to explore. Huh? Something has been bothering me about the person at the heart of this case. The so-called ringleader. Who exactly are they? We never looked into that, huh? Yeah, Eustace, you're just realizing that now? Despite having been mentioned repeatedly in this hearing, we still don't know even the most basic facts that might help us uncover their identity. Do I have any thoughts on the matter? We've seen nothing that might serve as clear evidence of the auctioneer's identity as of yet. But there is someone involved in the case that I can name. I suspect that at the very least it might be able to point us in the right direction. Chairman Winner, I demand that you testify as to what you know. You know something, Eustace, I'm just saying. Why would I accuse you of that? Because he's sus, Eustace! You cast doubt on the integrity of the chairman of the committee? Ma'am? Ma'am. If I could, I'd cast doubt on the entire committee, let alone just the chairman. You understand the implications of such an act? Bell? I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna go out with a bang. I don't care who or what he is, we're talking about the truth here. And about a man who seems dead set on framing Kay at all costs. The mask, visage, ticket stub, and everything else. The items Kay was carrying when she was found. They were deliberately placed in her possession somehow, by Chairman Winner himself. It makes sense of why he remembers all the items so clearly. It's a shocking accusation and one I find hard to believe, but for the sake of completeness, I must ask, why would he do such a thing? Cast suspicion on Kay, of course, why else? I even managed to get him to say something to that effect. Does he have a rebuttal? I think the good chairman might be in shock. So what if I did? You hear me? What if I did? You say you got me to admit as much, but where's your proof? With no witnesses to speak of, your word alone is hardly enough to make an accusation like that stick. What do you mean to tell us that you have something more to base your outburst on? He still has the arrogance he showed back at the detention center, and yet... I'm gonna have to ask you to explain yourself. That's alright, Mr. Chairman. Not at all. I'll be very interested in hearing this for myself. I'm intrigued to learn where Miles might have gotten the idea that I'm some sort of criminal. Sir. We have taken down the chief of police. You think the chairman of a prosecutorial excellence committee scares me? Oh no, I have a bot. Ban. Alright, let's keep going. Never find a more fine and upstanding citizen than myself. I'm sorry. I can't even say that with a straight face. Very well, let's start at the very beginning. The fact that the auction took place right here in this hallowed trial chamber is a point of suspicion. A location that should by rights only be accessible to members of the committee. They do all have keycards to the room. Furthermore, these auctions seem to be held on a somewhat regular basis. And for that to be possible, there can only be one winning explanation. That's right, Mr. Winner, that the auctioneer is a member of the committee. Oh, was that not where you were going with this? Played right into my hand. Nothing new. Do you realize that you cast quite the wide net with your explanation? Patience is a virtue, sir. There are 11 members of the committee altogether, 10 given Miss Ringer's unfortunate passing, 10 potential suspects in total. Okay. Can't be the chairman. Can it? Wherever they speak up right now. Oh, yeah. Has that ever worked for you? Is that all the proof you got against me? Too late to back out now? You accuse a former chief prosecutor and current committee chairman of a crime. Sir, you're not the only chief prosecutor I've accused of a crime. Please. Took down Lana Sky too. I feel like he only sets things on fire when he's mad. You're forcing us to argue over every little detail for a while now. Come on. Where the murder happened, the order of the victim's injury, some other things I hardly even remember. But you needn't have bothered, my boy, because it's all irrelevant in the end. Think about it. The suspect herself has already said she did it. That's all that matters at the end of the day, and her sentence will be lighter for it, so rejoice. Alright, feel free to pick holes in it as you see fit. It's alright, Miles. He's a very powerful person, isn't he? Okay. That's one way of putting it. It's okay. No, it's not. We're not letting you go. Listen, Kay. My name is Miles Edgeworth, okay? It is not Elsa. I don't let things go. So a flash of something half remembered, Kay, nothing more. If you must believe in something, believe me when I say you should believe in your own innocence instead. Alright, I'm up against the head of the committee here. This isn't going to be easy, but he seems to think he's already won. Perhaps I can use that against him. Alright, let's start by pressing.
Hold it.
Even the board strokes are correct. It doesn't make something true. Say the bigger picture is more than enough here. After all, every case it's a little inconsistencies and contradictions. Huh? And you're okay with that? If we let ourselves get bogged down in every single one, we never make any arrests. Celsius, I think that says more about the competencies of your police force than anything else. And once we did, the trials would drag on forever. Even you understand that, right? Yes, because trials should drag on forever if there is room for debate. Not in the slightest, hence my inquiry into the details. Okay. If the murder happened, the order of the victim's injury, some other things I can hardly remember. Alright, let's go. I seem to recall a ringleader's identity and the faulty coroner's report being critical points of contention. I was listening, but critical is a matter of opinion. Okay. Perhaps it is your ability to make sound judgment that should be on trial here today. Damn! You do like to try though, don't you? You didn't have bothered my boy because it's so irrelevant in the end. There's no way any of what we discussed today is irrelevant, not unless you tend to bury the truth. But none of it is relevant. The only reason you keep trying to make it relevant is because otherwise you're up a creek without a paddle. The spy herself has already said she did it. Just because she confessed to something doesn't make it the truth. Okay, suffering from amnesia, so any statement she makes should be taken with at least a grain of salt. Even so, it doesn't exactly solve anything for us, does it? And it would be nonsensical to dismiss her confession outright. I tell you what, why don't we ask her one last time? Though I'm sure she'll just say she did it again. Fine, let's do it. Let's ask her again. We'll see if she really believes herself to be the culprit. Yes, UK. Is this really what you want? If it goes badly, it could significantly weaken your position. It doesn't really matter. You guys are gonna bury her regardless, right? There's no other way. I only request I be the one to question her. You know how to talk in an old man's heartstrings, you know? Is it your heartstrings I'm talking? Ask away on one condition. If this turns out to be a waste of time, that's it. He burns something every time he's frustrated. Call the proceedings to an end then and there. Alright, let's keep going. Ask again, all that happens, the girl confirms her guilt. She's officially declared guilty on the spot. It sounds like a great plan if I do say so myself. Sir! Sir, this is not a courtroom! You just declare her guilty just like that? That's the gist of it. It's a big risk, but he's going to find a way to condemn her either way if we don't do something. Come on, Kay. I know it's a lot to ask, but I need you to think. Do you remember anything else about what happened on the day of the murder? Anything that might help us prove your innocence? Am I still fighting? Because I knew you didn't do it! Just scared to try and remember anymore? Or if I remember something even worse? And if I did, I'd just be making more trouble for you. No, it's okay. Remember worse. Don't worry, Kay, you have nothing to be afraid of. I may not have known you for a very long time, but I know you well enough. And right now I say I know you better than you know yourself. You would never commit a murder, you could never, because this is who you really are.
Take that!
You're the great thief Yatagarasu, a noble outlaw who would never stoop so low as to kill. Come on, don't let your dad down! Don't let Detective Bad down! Because all I can see is the one memory that's returned. I have to face it.
Hold it!
The only evidence of your guilt is the confession they forced out of you. As I said earlier, you have to believe that you're better than that. Or are you saying you don't believe a word of what I've been telling you? It's not that. You're trying so hard to help me. And you're missing so much from me. Of course, Kay! Technically, you saved Miles' life before, so like... It's too much? You have to stop? I thought it was strange, but now I see. The reason you're allowing yourself to be railroaded into accepting your fate is because of me. Which is exactly what the Kay I know would have done. Sorry to burst your bubble, but I'm not, and I don't plan on becoming one anytime soon. Because despite all your wishes to the contrary, I'm still trying to help you. So you see, I've merely been servicing my own ego, regardless of what I put you through. Yeah, Miles just wants to know the truth! Now let's try this again. See the good in yourself, Kay. Remember the noble thief you truly are. The memory of you committing the murder, you need to question it with all you have. All I ask. So please do it for me. Come on, Kay! Don't let your father and Detective Bad down! What's wrong? Do you remember something? You like some cliche movie plot if it did? Welcome to Ace Attorney, Excelsius! A cow? A cow? Yeah, a cow? Your Honor, will this be on the test? Maybe. Are you taking notes, Jorge? Mr. Edgeworth, if you could perhaps ask her for a few more details? What can you tell us about this cow? I remember. The person in the red raincoat, she had it in her hand. A stuffed cow. I can see it so clearly now. You sure, Miss Faraday? Are you absolutely certain? Yes, I'm sure. Then this court acknowledged the defendant's latest statement as new testimony. Can't accept testimony like this? What do you mean? With all due respect, Mr. Chairman, information pertaining to the victim and her possession is new and highly relevant evidence. May I remind you of the addled state of her memory? Oh, I'm sorry. If she confesses to murder, she remembers correctly. If she remembers something else of the crime, then her memory's addled. Which is it, Excelsius? You can't have it both ways. Like, huh? Addled, but if we claim her memory's unreliable now, then our own argument's weak and Sir Baxkabal. You said yourself only a few minutes ago that thanks to the suspect's confession, we need not worry ourselves over the finer details, did you not? Were we to call the validity of her memories to question, then we must also call into question the confession on which our entire argument is based. Is that really the most advisable course of action? Proceed as you see fit. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We're still in the game, but only by the skin of our teeth. Only thanks to Judge Gavel's intervention. It's almost as she was on our side for a second. I think she wants to see where this road takes you. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, the stuffed animal? I believe the cow in question is this thing here, Your Honor. We found it in the storeroom and believe it is yet another auction lot. Alright, here we go. Do you know something, Gavel? It's just not what I imagined. I suppose this is a rather odd thing for the victim to have been carrying. I should look it over carefully. Alright, here we go. It's so cute! It's actually really cute! There's a cherry blossom petal caught in the fur here. There were petals on the raincoat too, and a cherry tree in bloom on the viewing platform. It would definitely appear that this was taken outside at some point. But what did the victim want with this thing? What is this? The left horn is missing. This hole. It looks like that's where the horn would have gone. That doesn't look like stuffing in there. So what is it? Let's take a look at the rest of this toy and see what else we can find. Alright, let's open this horn up. The right horn seems intact, but I can't say it's doing much for the overall symmetry of the stuffed toy. It moves! Huh? It sounds like sand being crushed? It would seem there's a recording device hidden inside. I knew it was you the moment I laid eyes on you. You can't hide that burn from me. Nothing to say for yourself? I've waited so long for this day, and now I'll finally have my revenge. Could this be the moment of the murder? And someone made a recording of it. Broken plushie fitted with a recording device that captured part of a conversation of the people recorded had a prominent burn. That's them right there. Them's the voices I heard, sure as eggs is eggs. Fortunately, we have nowhere verifying when these voices were recorded. It's possible they had nothing to do with the murder. Only there was some accompanying video. Them's the voices I heard. And we already know the victim was holding that thing, so it's gotta be from where she got it. Where she got. It is a possibility, but a weak one with more than your words to back it up. You need something more, something credible. Yet again, she seems to be stepping in to help. Judge Gaval, I think we all know the voices are from the moment of the murder. Consider for a moment the words we heard one of the speakers say. I knew it was you the moment I laid eyes on you. You can't hide that burn from me. I believe it's something that could explain what these words are referring to and how it's all related. Alright, this is when we bring up the coroner's report.
Take that!
Coroner's preliminary findings. How do they prove anything? Alright, let's focus on the other remarks where the victim had a prominent burn mark on the back of their right hand. Think again on the words we heard. This part in particular sticks out in my mind. You can't hide that burn from me. The victim had a prominent burn mark on the back of her right hand. And what of it? And Celsius, did you burn her with your lighter? That's why she has a burn on the back of her hand? According to case testimony, the victim was carrying the stuffed cow toy, and a burn mark, an identifying mark unique to the victim, was mentioned on the recording and captured. It's just a coincidence, stuff that happens all the time? Eustace, please. Not so sure that it does, especially not in this case. The court accepts that the recording may be from the time of the murder. In which case, one of the two voices must belong to the real culprit. And based on the content of the conversation, it seems likely that it's the one we hear the most. That still doesn't tell us anything about the killer's true identity or even their male or female. Due to the voice changes, correct, unfortunate but unavoidable. One thing, however, has become clear. We're now able to say that the voices Miss Hart heard were those of Miss Ringer and her killer. You can say something else now, too. Well, let's hear it. That is, if you don't mind, Mr. Chairman. Do as you wish. According to Miss Hart, just before the murder occurred, two people came up to the storeroom from the committee chamber on the elevator. The ringleader and one of the auction attendees. It seems this was the point at which money exchanged hands. The murder happened immediately afterward, and the auction carried on after that, all of which points to one key fact. The ringleader was the killer. Since the ringleader was the auction's sole auctioneer, then it follows that they cannot be the victim. Not right now, Eustace is a good boy. And if they weren't the victim, then they can only have been the killer. The compelling argument, but hardly conclusive. I'm fully aware of that, Your Honor. I was merely warming up for the main event. Oh, he's getting upset. There were certain traces left in the scene that seemed to suggest that the ringleader was the killer. Please hurry up and show us. There's something that was placed on the scene that points to the ringleader as having been the killer.
Take that!
Oh, that was not. It wasn't the magenta flower? Okay, hang on. Let me think about this. The ringleader was the killer. It is something they would have wanted to hide. Just to believe your assertion. The ringleader was the killer. We will need to see some evidence to that effect. But it's something that was placed on the scene that points to the ring killer as having been the killer. Candelabra.
Take that!
I'm losing this pretty badly. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be presenting. Well, isn't it my favorite spreadsheet loving Necromancer house the A's sing and they're turning going? Not well. Not well.
Take that!
Not well. As you can see, I'm failing. Probably need to save before I keep losing. And now let's load back a second. Okay. Okay. Edgeworth knows something that I don't. I don't know what it is. We need another round of mind checks. We need more evidence. No, I'm sure the evidence is there. I'm just not seeing it. Oh no. Yeah, Johnny. I'm trying though. Let's see. Okay. Something that was placed on the scene that points to the ringleader as having been the killer. So it's not the corsage. It's not the ticket stub. And it's not the mask. Something was placed in the scene that points to the ringleader having been a killer. Well, it can't be the plushie. Can't be the mask, because only the participants got the mask. It's not a ringleader's parents. The key card? No, that's not it. Okay, this is literally... We're literally at the point where we are... Process of eliminating. Let's save here. Okay. The letter K was carrying was addressed to her. No, no. 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 Something that was placed on the scene that points to the ringleader as having been the killer. Renko was warned by the victim. A photograph of the mysterious figure. I don't think this is it.
Take that!
No, I don't think that's it. Something that was placed on the scene that points to the ringleader as having been the killer. Promise notebook?
Take that!
No. I'm confused. Okay, so it wasn't the corsage. It wasn't the outfit. It wasn't the mask. Maybe it's the letter?
Take that!
No, that's not it. Something that was at the crime scene. Are they talking about the plushie? Okay. Something that was placed on the scene that points to the ringleader as having been the killer. Something that was placed at the... See? Box in which the killer hid the body. The rainbow? I'm so confused. Okay, something that was placed on the scene that points to the ringleader as having been the killer. So it's not the candelabrum. Something that was put there. It's not the key card, because we tried that. Serious figure. The raincoat?
Take that!
No, that's not it. I don't get it either. Mouse always knows something that I don't know. Alright, time for Spark Notes. I wanna be here forever. Sometimes I don't understand the logic of these games. It's probably a skill issue, but you know, what can I do? What can I do? Oh. You're saying present the committee room blood? I don't really get it. I'm not understanding the logic behind it, but I'm sure Edgeworth will explain this to me in a way that I understand. The killer deliberately left a large pool of blood at the foot of the Goddess of Justice statue. It was due to that blood that we originally thought the murder had happened in this chamber. It was simply a ruse designed to cover up the blood that had dripped down from the storeroom. Oh! I see. In order to conceal the existence of the underground auction. I see. I don't get it. But okay, you both agree. So I agree also. The culprit had nothing to do with the auction. They would have had no reason to cover up that blood, which further supports the theory that the ringleader and the killer were one and the same. And as to the identity of the ringleader, do you have anyone you'd like to name? Auction is always held in this committee chamber with its storeroom located just overhead. So at the very least, we know the murder's ringleader has some connection to the committee. Yes, okay. You suspect... Yes, I do suspect you, Excelsius. As the committee's most powerful member, that should hardly be a surprise, right? You're a fine prosecutor, that much I'll give you. But as I think I may have mentioned already, you're also hopelessly naive. He's very upset with me. Got nothing. No evidence whatsoever. Unless you've got something to share after all. Do you have any evidence to show that Chairman Winner is the murderer? I remember seeing a clip of a real lawyer playing the first Ace Attorney. He got mad because Edgeworth called for an illegal updated autopsy report. He called it a kangaroo court case. Yeah, that is actually illegal. You can't... If you update the autopsy report, the defense has to have... The defense can literally request a... I believe... What do they call it? They can request the trial to be suspended until they have reviewed the updated autopsy report. These court cases are based only on slander and agendas. Yeah. That's partially why sometimes I get really confused. But I don't believe we have any evidence to show that the chairman is actually the murderer. Let me think about this. I would believe the answer is we don't. But I'm not sure. I'm gonna go with I don't because I don't really think we have anything. Off-topic question, dumplings or chilies? Always dumplings. It was Chairman Winner himself who brought up the fact that I suspected him. He seems confident right from the get-go that he's untouchable. Which means he knows I have nothing. Time to pay the piper. Always wanted to say that. Verity, he's all yours. Oh. Oh, what is it, Miss Hart? She just remembered something. It just done came to me. Flash off inspiration, you know how it is. Say your piece. Verity is sus of Yoso. Mr. Edgeworth has made it clear that he won't give up until very last look of hope has been extinguished. So extinguish we must, lest he tries to drag us through this excruciating process again in the future. Dumpling it is! Excellent choice, Johnny. Excellent choice. I know, I said I was gonna end the stream early, but now I can't. We're in the middle of it right now! Sounded pretty cool. Alright, Eustace. Don't worry, Dad. I'll help Cavell bring this to a winning finish. We'll show them how wrong they are. Oh, you sure about that, sir? Alright, here we go. What you got for me, Miss Hart? Facts, Miss Hart, and nothing but the facts, please. Don't you worry your pretty little head on that front. I'm a journalist. Truth's my middle name. Color me officially worried! So the ringleader's the killer, right? Which makes the victim one of them auction goers. Thing is, that don't add up. I counted 11 people coming down that hatch, see? Then the murder happened, and then the auction started back up again. Now, it had me a look back downstairs right after that. Wouldn't you know it, there were 11 little duckies all lined up in a row again. How? And you sure of this, Miss Hart? Sure as sure can be, your gavelship. Saw him with my own two peepers. 11 before the murder and 11 again right after means... That means... That means Rosie wasn't there to buy something. A contradiction Eustace to try to keep up. Miss Hart, did nothing really change at all? It carried right on again like nothing even happened. Except for it wasn't nothing much, but... What is it? That little old mallet doodad can have your own auction without one. Kinda like the one Missy over there's got, but different. Auctioneer's hammer? That's the bunny. It done heard that thing bang and clang right the way through, then nothing, just like that. So the noise of the hammer stopped midway through could have something to do with the murder. This Hart statement data updated in my organizer. If what Miss Hart is telling us is true, we have something of a problem. Namely, that the victim is neither the auctioneer nor one of the attendees. Your entire theory cannot stand, Mr. Edgeworth. Must be something we're overlooking, something we still don't have an explanation for. Just need to think. If I can't, so then I expect you to make... Hold it again? Hello, Gaval? One moment, sir. I worry that it might still be a little early to pass judgment. After all, we have one more matter yet to resolve. And until we do, we cannot claim complete and total victory over Mr. Edgeworth. Well, damn. Is that not so, Mr. Edgeworth? Frankly, I expect you to have raised your voice by now. A loud hold it, perhaps. Yes, of course! And once again, she has rescued us from the jaws of defeat. Let's get this over with, shall we? What is this one matter that still remains? The contradiction in the coroner's report, sir. Alright! Yes, Grandma Hurst! Hello, Grandma! Hello, Nurse Needler! Somebody suddenly fall ill. I have a compress ready and No. This better be good. Did somebody else drop dead? Oh, they might be soon. Wish they had. Hello, ma'am. Dr. Hurst, Miss Needler, thank you for coming on such short notice. Let me assure you this won't take long. Quit trying to butter me up and cut to the chase. Of course, we summoned you here to confirm something. Dr. Hurst, this court asks you that you provide the unabridged truth regarding the following. Do you stand by your preliminary findings? Can you vouch for their complete and total accuracy? Grandma doesn't make mistakes ever? That's strange. What do you mean? In the courses of this trial, an error was indeed found in her report. And so I ask again for the truth, Dr. Hurst. Did you alter, tamper with, or in any way falsify your findings? How can you even say that? What are you asking me for? Why the heck would I want to do that? To help the true culprit, of course. As if I know anything about that. I just know I didn't do anything of the sort. And that seems doubly strange. What other explanation could there be for the discrepancy in your report, Mr. Edgeworth? I wonder if you might have any thoughts on the matter. It's not like you to be coy, I must say. Why does she keep taking charge and helping me? Because she's interested in where this path takes her. Still don't know what she's trying to do, but I'll happily take what I can get. If everything was recorded accurately and then handed off to Mr. Winter according to protocol, then the report shouldn't contain any mistakes. I didn't do anything to the report. We know, Eustace, you're too dumb to do so. I guess we'll see, won't we? Dr. Hurst, perhaps we could begin with your side of the story? I'll be the judge of what's pointless. Thank you very much. But Grandma, we really don't have time for this. Won't you please help us? I can't stress how important this is. Grandma says she'll testify, but could you please make it quick? If we're not back soon, people will suffer. And yet you had no qualms about taking your time and buying cotton candy the last time we saw you! Damn. We'll let you go as soon as we can, I promise. Assuming you tell us the truth, that is. The so-called mistake in the report. No way there's a mistake in Grandma's report, never. I've been dealing with the dead longer than you've been alive, Sonny Jim. I mean, writing something wrong is about as likely as... And what the heck do you think I'd stand to gain by a doctor in a file? Don't make a lick of sense. And that's all she has to say. Nothing funky here. You swear by the holy goddess that this testimony is true? Of course, Grandma's never told her. Opinions are not necessary, Nurse Needler. Your grandmother is the subject of this inquiry, not you. I'm the only ally poor Grandma has? Go ahead and shout objections left and right, but you best be prepared then, Mr. Ex-Prosecutor. Alright, here we go. The so-called mistakes in the report. Alright, suppressed. Never. You're saying that Dr. Harris is infallible. She has to be. A doctor can't afford to make mistakes. Even a veteran like Grandma would be out of a job if she messed up even once, so there's no way she of all people would. I got a whole hospital relying on me. Might be you can bungle your work and survive, mister, but I can't. Alright. And you're really never made a single mistake in all that time. Doctoring is all about experience. The longer you've been at it, the better you get. Only the same was true for prosecuting. Chairman Winner would be the best in the business. But I think we can all agree that's not the case. Never once made a mistake either? Does your son count? Too busy for follow-ups, and luckily for me, I don't have to make them. Isn't having people just grand? Don't you go trying to make doctoring and lawyering around the same. They ain't nothing alike. Nothing alike, I tell ya. You running something wrong is about as likely as... Okay. The victim appears to have put this raincoat on after sustaining the head injury, and yet there was not a single drop of her blood in the chest area of the raincoat. Therefore, she must have been hit in the head before she was stabbed in the chest, making it pre-mortem. I don't need you to teach me how to suck eggs, young man. My damn report already said what you just said, don't it? Your report states that the head injury appears to have been sustained post-mortem, which is the exact opposite of what I just said! Oh. Sure. I diligently dictated that report to Florence here, and she wrote it all down just like I said it. Something happened to it after? That were nothing to do with me. You dictated it? If you could please tell me more. IDK, man, that hair beard thing looks like a mistake to me! You know, maybe he's into the Beatles, I don't know. Like, did the Beatles have long hair and beard like that? I don't even know.
Hold it!
Just so we're on the same page, what were your conclusions regarding the body? Well, like I said, death from a good hard knock to the noggin. And can you say for certain when that knock happened, Dr. Hertz? Pre-mortem, of course. Chest wound happened after the poor girl died. I told Florence that, and she wrote it right down, so that's what it says in my damn report. That might be what she told her, but I think we're finally getting to the truth.
Hold it!
May not have stood to gain anything from it, but what about your granddaughter? Didn't stand to gain anything either? Never mind her, what about your little friend over there? She stand to gain something for sure. Look at you, trying to accuse my sweet innocent Florence of wrongdoing. Don't be ashamed of yourself? I wish you'd tell that to Chairman Winner. Anyhow, nobody doctored that report. Nobody. That's all she has to say, nothing funky here. Alright. There we go.
Objection!
Yeah, objection! And you know it's good when he shakes his head like that. Dr. Hertz, I'd like you to take a look at the report for yourself. This ain't what I said. This ain't what I said at all. What do you mean exactly? I don't know. You can't say that, but you have to! Ma'am? Nurse Needler. Buenas noches. Hello, Melpud. What's up? We're getting closer to the truth of the case. I don't know if we'll finish today, but we're gonna try. Miss Needler, if you're attempting to bury Dr. Hertz's truth, I will gladly hear her confession myself on behalf of the goddess of justice. Dr. Hertz seems to be telling Judge Gavelle something in private. Very well, allow me to relate to everyone what you have just told me. Ain't no doubt about what I said. I dictated my findings to Florence just like I told you I did. The fuddle-headed young thing must have wrote it down wrong or something. It was a great impression. Was it really necessary? So in summary, there's an error in the report, and it was all because of you, Nurse Needler. What? You what? The true facts have been shown to be that the head injury occurred prior to the chest wound. Question now, Miss Needler, is why did you introduce such an error? Make it sound as if the board wrote it deliberately? Celsius, you don't think so? Where it seems to me she just made a little mistake. Oh, a little mistake? Pre-mortem, post-mortem, they're practically the same word, don't you think? Except they mean two completely opposite things. This was deliberate, no doubt about it. But why would she want to change it? You won't get away with that easy. Explain yourself, young lady. But what? But what? You submitted a falsified report, an act that led to Kate being accused of murder. You owe us an explanation. You can't? I can't tell you? Not don't want to, but can't? It's really rather unpleasant, don't you think? Gang up on this poor considerate girl who's only looking after her grandmother? Damn, your tune changes quickly, Excelsior, don't you? No, I'm not gonna leave it at that. You like that, wouldn't you? Because the only person her testimony will hurt is you. What on earth do you mean, my boy? Seeing as you're now a de facto ex-prosecutor, you're going to need to explain yourself better than that. I'd be happy to. I'll even spell it out for you. Nurse Needler's role in this crime was very important because she is a co-conspirator. Nurse Needler doctored the report in order to cover for her accomplice. She's a co-conspirator, the innocent young thing. Oh no, from where I'm standing, Kay looks like the innocent young thing. You sure your grounds for making such a wild accusation? The murder couldn't have been committed by one person working on their own. Without at least two people, it wouldn't have been possible to maintain attendee numbers. If the auctioneer was the murderer and the victim was one of the attendees, the fact that a witness testified to there being 11 attendees even after the murder doesn't make sense. Listen, I believe you, Lotta. Just give me a second, okay? It's not what I meant. In fact, it's quite the opposite. I'm taking you at your word, which means there must be a co-conspirator. Get him! We're going, Bronda, we're going! Sometimes you just have to accept that you are wrong. And sometimes, Excelsius, you just have to accept your sus AF! I wasn't wrong, I just hadn't considered the possibility of the killer having an accomplice. But as soon as we do, things start to fall into place. If the killer's accomplice returned to the auction room in place of the victim, there would indeed have been 11 attendees both before and after the murder. So that's your thinking, is it? Certainly an intriguing theory. Oh, he's so mad. But surely the imposter would have been spotted right away. I don't imagine that Nurse Needler looks strikingly different from the victim in build and stature. With the help of a mask, she could very easily have replaced Miss Ringer without anybody noticing. Well, Nurse Needler, is that what happened? Did you take the victim's place at the auction? Gonna do something like that? Now tell us, the ringleader, who were they? I can't tell you, I just canned her grandma too. Don't you worry about me, I can take it. You just tell me everything, child! Damn! Grandma's gangsta! Grandma's gangsta! Grandma! Grandma, you're cool. I like that. So I was right, she was an accomplice. Miss Needler, why? Well, Miss Needler? Can you explain yourself? Yes. Oh, thank you, Grandma. But I'm alright now. I confess it. I changed places with Miss Ringer. So you meant that you were working with the ringleader? Yeah, I was helping them. I don't know how, but they found out Miss Ringer was going to attack them. Cobra was going to be attacked by the victim? They seemed pretty sure it was going to happen that night, so they made a counter plan. They wanted to strike first, and they wanted me to help them. I was told to go to the storeroom before the auction began and wait there. I didn't see nothing, and my eyes don't lie. If you'd been there from before the auction, I would have bumped right into you. I was there the whole way through, and you were not there for a bit of it. But I'm not lying.
Objection!
Okay. I think we're all well aware of the number of potential hiding places in the storeroom. Where exactly are you trying to say our friend the nurse was hiding? Nurse Neela hid here while she was waiting in the storeroom. Okay. Mayhaps the clothes box. She hid inside this clothes box. She did she? Well, it was there the whole time, even before I moseyed on in. But like I done told you, it held them chains around it. Wanted to hide in there myself, really, but it was locked up tight, so I had to go elsewhere. And imagine that's because Nerd Leader was already lying in there by the time you arrived. That's right, we didn't want anybody to open it, or it would have really blown our cover. So the ringleader told me to climb in and wait until it was time for my part of the plan. And then they wrapped the whole box up in chains. I think they took the elevator downstairs not so long after. It was just before the auction was due to start. So as the auction was beginning, you and Miss Hart would have been the only people in the storeroom. Yeah, I think so. The auction proceeded as it always did until a certain customer came upstairs to complete her purchase. That was when the incident occurred. Miss Hart overheard the victim and the culprit exchanging words around them. Behind the statue there, shaking like a dang leaf the whole time. In the middle of their quarrel, Miss Ringer was killed by the auctioneer. I imagine that the auctioneer then carried Miss Ringer's body over to the clothes box, from which Nurse Needler emerged and swapped places with the victim. After placing Miss Ringer's body inside the box, Nurse Needler's role was to pretend to be Miss Ringer. The two of them then returned into the room below as if nothing had happened. That about sums up what happened in the storeroom, Nurse Needler? Her name is really hard to say sometimes. Yes, in fact, that's exactly what happened. So you just waltzed right back on in and nobody noticed? This is two completely different people we're talking about. You're telling me not one of the other folks down there at the auction caught it on. Why would they? The other auction goers had no reason to notice the difference when Nurse Needler entered because she has stolen the victim's clothes. As we've seen, Miss Ringer and Nurse Needler are about the same build. What's more, the auction rules require attendees to wear their masks at all times. If Nurse Needler were wearing the same clothes as Miss Ringer, nobody would have been any the wiser. No, and they weren't. I borrowed Miss Ringer's clothes and left the poor child in her smalls? Have you no respect, girl? No, Grandma, I thought the same thing. It wouldn't be nice to leave her like that. So when the ringleader wasn't looking, I put that raincoat on her. So that's how Miss Ringers came to be wearing it. Thus, the auction was able to carry on as before. I guess the part where I caught the red raincoat on film came just after. And it all makes sense. Right after that was when I went on over and looked downstairs through the gap in the elevator. Spied me 11 happy little auction goers, then back I snuck to my little hiding. Don't tell me you were hiding back there the entire time after that? Not exactly. What is it? Did something happen? So maybe I ought to have mentioned this before, but I fell asleep for a few weeks after that. Well, passed out, unconscious, you might say. Kinda silly, really, but there was this sudden loud noise, and it startled me just a little bit. Maybe more than a little, but I just witnessed a murder. Can't blame a girl for getting jumpy. Guess that got my heart shook and my head faint. Before I knew it, I was out like a light. By the time I came to it was the next day, and there y'all were clanging down that ladder. So you were startled by a loud noise and fell unconscious. I suppose that means you don't know what happened after that. Not perceived, but after the auction was over, all the masks were back on the rack. So I reckon the guests finished up and filed out one by one like they were supposed to. Nurse Needler, once the auction had restarted, what exactly were you doing? I was pretending to be Miss Ringer and placing bids just as the ringleader wanted. I had to win the clothes box as I'd been instructed. It had a dead body inside after all. Imagine if somebody else had won it. We would have been in real trouble then. So you had no idea that the victim had vacated the box in the meantime. No, not until we came back up so I could pay for it. That was when we noticed it. The ringleader told me to go look for her right away. Except I found some other girl collapsed at the foot of the ladder instead. Hey. She must have fallen from up on the roof and been knocked unconscious. So the victim must have left that hatch wide open. That would explain it. Kay would have been so shocked by seeing Miss Ringer falling motionless right in front of her that she wouldn't have seen the open hatch and fallen right through it. That explains the noise that caused you to faint as well, Miss Hart. It was the sound of Kay crash landing onto the storeroom floor. Can't believe something like that done knocked me out for so long, though. So in summary, by the time Miss Needler found Kay, you were already sound asleep behind the statue. I think we've got a good grasp on what occurred up until this point now. Nurse Needler, if you would continue. So I found Kay, and next I found Miss Ringer, and I put them both in the clothes box. We couldn't risk any of the auction goers seeing them. That would have caused a real hullabaloo. So your idea of the ringleaders. Theirs. Putting the raincoat on Miss Ringer was my own idea. So I tried to get rid of it before they found out what I'd done. Imagine they were none too pleased when it showed up as a surprise piece of evidence in this case. And lastly, the ringleader and I put her in an auctioneer's outfit we prepared. Which completed the deception and made everyone think she was the auctioneer. All in all, the auction finished up without anybody noticing anything, and that was that. Alright, now that we know the extent of your crimes, Nurse Needler, if you have anything further to share, I'd advise you to do so immediately. I wish I could tell you more, but I'm sorry, that's all I know. Except for one other thing. It did seem a little strange, I guess. When I was borrowing Miss Ringer's clothes, it took everything I could, but I couldn't take her hair. So, well. You're damn right gonna take her hair? What kind of medical professional are you? Our hair was totally different. The style, the length, everything. I kind of panicked. But the ringleader thought of everything, including wigs. 2 of them, in fact. There was a straight one and a wavy one. They were both stashed in the clothes box. 2 wigs? But why? I wondered that too. I thought maybe they were worried she might have changed up her style. Anyway, I took the straight one. That was the one that matched her hair on the day. Leaving a wavy wig in the box. Nurse Needler's statement data jotted down in my organizer. That's everything you know? There's nothing else you're forgetting? Oh, that's everything. And I take it that you really have no idea who the ringleader might be? Sorry, I only know that they were in charge of the auction. I didn't see them without their mask on. And they were pretty careful to keep their identity a secret from everyone. No, Miles, are we about done? Proven the nurse was part of the murder plot, but sadly for you it doesn't change the whole lot, because it does nothing to prove that Kay Faraday isn't the ringleader. And justice must prevail. Can't change the law even for your sake. Wait, what? Huh? Wait, what? How does this not prove that-
Objection!
Wait, what? Hello, Francisca! What are you doing here? As I told you before, Miles Edgeworth, where the case leads, I follow. Your dedication is an inspiration to us all. But don't go getting the wrong idea, little brother. I'm only here to deliver the truth regarding the suspect. I'm certainly not here to forgive you. Oh, sorry, Francisca. For abandoning the way of the prosecutor. I didn't abandon it! I'm veering off it temporarily! You should thank your former subordinate for what I'm about to share. In his desperation to help Kay Faraday, he gave me a valuable piece of information. Detective Gumshoe! Prepare yourself, Miles Edgeworth, for the final piece of the puzzle. Rosie Ringer's head wound was the first of the injuries she suffered, not the second. We already... We kind of... There's no easy way to say this, Francisca, but we already proved that ourselves. Yeah. Just a few minutes ago. Sorry! Why didn't you say so sooner? Why was the huh? You didn't exactly give us a chance! And I suppose you know about the murder weapon, too. No, not yet. Good. Then listen up. The victim was struck on the head with a blunt object bearing a circular surface, and the wounds to the chest were actually inflicted post-mortem. A circular surface?
Objection!
You're certain of that, I'm assuming? Your sources are above board? 2 trusted medical professionals reached the same conclusion independently. You can ask for more. That's certainly good to know. Unfortunately, you're overstepping the...
Objection!
Excuse me? Of what? Yeah, she's the prosecutor in charge of Interpol's investigation of the underground auction. This murder occurred during that auction. It would be negligent of me not to pursue leads pertaining to related parties. Especially the victim. Alright. Then all parties are in agreement. The victim died from a blow to the head. Autopsy report data updated in my organizer. Sadly, the murder weapon itself has yet to be identified. Based on the shape, I might have an idea or two. And turn out any other weapon during my investigation? Eustace. Shh. And yet, one need only think about the setting and the auctioneer's tools and the answer should be obvious. An object with a circular surface used in the auction, we're obviously talking about the auctioneer's hammer. What would an auctioneer have readily at hand? An auctioneer's hammer, of course. We never found one of those. The auctioneer was indeed the killer. Does seem like a likely candidate for the murder weapon. But without the evidence to support your theory, it means nothing more than that. I have just the evidence you need right here. We do? Huh? This piece of evidence strongly suggests that the auctioneer's hammer was the murder weapon. Do you want to share with the class? Do you want to share with the class, Ezra? Because I don't know where you're going with this. Alright, let's save. Oh, no, we can't save. Alright, YOLO it is. Piece of evidence strongly suggests that the auctioneer's hammer was the murder weapon. Oh yeah, maybe it's this. Miss Hart told us something very important about the auction after the murder occurred. She said that the very prominent sound of the auctioneer's hammer could no longer be heard. Now, why would that be? I'll tell you why. Because it had just been used in a murder and was covered in the victim's blood. It would need to be disposed of, isn't that right, Chairman Winner? I'll have our people look into this right away. You really are like a dog with a bone, aren't you, dear boy? But if you can't dedicate yourself to a cause when you're young, when can you? He seems very confident we'll never find it. Very well, a search for the murder weapon will be conducted. In the meantime, this court is in recess. To be continued! Okay, let's save our progress. That was a lot more difficult than I thought it would be. And, we are going to come back and continue this at a later time. Because we're at the 3-hour mark. So much for having a shorter stream today. But you know, I just can't stop. I just can't stop when I'm so close. Can't stop when I'm so close. Hey, progress! That's right, Johnny. We made progress. We made a lot of progress. I had to consult my Spark Notes twice. Skill issue. But it got the ball rolling. That's all that matters. Alright, well. Oh my gosh. We made some progress in this case. We still have yet to clear Kay's name. I feel like we have more testimonies and whatnot coming, but that we will address that next week. Next week. I will be off on Saturday, but I will be back on Sunday. They just chatting, which we rarely ever do. So I don't really know how it's gonna go. We're gonna do it anyway, and that way we can be somewhat productive while I click auto continuously in Grand Blue Fantasy. I'm America Gamery. Thank you, Bruno. Thank you, Johnny. Well, that is it for tonight. That is it for tonight. I appreciate you all for coming. Have a great day or great night wherever you are. Stay chill, stay safe, stay cool. And I will see you guys on Sunday. Good night, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye, bye bye, bye bye.